Could you please talk about how to add emotion whilst singing? Great question. Now, in today's episode, we're going to talk more about adding emotions to your singing because ultimately, people listen to your voice, people listen to your singing because they want to feel something. And so, in today's episode, I'm going to share with you two strategies, two ways to help you add emotions to your singing. Now, real quick, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ivan. I'm a voice teacher who works with students from all around the world. And really, on this channel, my goal is to make learning how to sing as easy and as simple as possible. And so if that is up your lane, consider subscribing so you can get access to our weekly episodes. And also, if you want to improve your voice faster and you want to do it with less frustrations, I've got some links down in the description below on how you can work with me more privately. And I've also got some self-study programs that you can also work through yourself. Last but not least, if you want to inspire our weekly free tutorials just like this one, then leave down in the comments below what would you like me to talk about next. Anyway, let's talk more about adding emotion to your singing. Now, the first thing here is going to be a caveat, which is build your technique first. There's simply no point in adding emotions to a performance that is off pitch or off time. It will just sound like a mess. So take some time to really understand the fundamentals of the voice. How do we actually sing on pitch? How do we actually sing on time? How do we get some of the fundamental mechanics of the voice right? You know, how we stretch the chords, how we keep the chords together. If you're unfamiliar with these concepts or you simply want a refresher, after this episode, go and check out episode 129, also episode 131. Now, if you've got those out of the way, let's even understand what does it even mean to be adding emotions to our singing. Now, to illustrate this point, I'm actually going to use a little song, and there'll be two examples, right? See if you can hear the difference.
情愿你次看多少次月亮，他在天空看多少次遗忘，多少星光。
Now compare that with this.
情愿你次看多少次月亮，他在天空看多少次遗忘，多少星光。
Now, you probably would have noticed that the second performance felt a bit more emotional. It maybe felt a bit more exciting. It maybe felt a bit more interesting. The reason why is in the second example, there was just a lot more what I call vocal colors. Basically, different stylistic choices. For example, I'm going a bit breathy. I'm kind of adding more intensity in a certain place. I'm maybe holding out notes longer. And, you know, maybe even because of the emotion, I actually changed some of the melody as well because it just felt right. And so often when we talk about, hey, how do I add emotions to my singing? It is about adding these details, these changes that can make your singing more interesting and to convey the emotion that you want to go for. And so how do we actually do this, right? So there's two ways. The first one here is going to be a bit of a top-down approach. And all that means is if we think of singing just as an extension of speech, you know, often when we feel sad and then we go and we vent out to our friends, maybe you're kind of crying in front of someone else, because we feel sad, there's a certain way that we sound. And so we can actually use this as a bit of a tool for us as singers. And so try this, just pick a song and ask yourself, you know, what kind of emotion is this trying to express? What kind of emotion is suitable? And then all you need to do here is you apply that emotion, you apply that feeling. And bonus points here for, you know, really expressing it with your face because our face is almost a bit of like a remote for some of our emotions. When we kind of make a sad face, often you'll kind of feel a bit more sad as well. From here, I'm going to make that expression or that facial expression and feel that emotion as I'm singing a song.
情愿你次看多少次月亮，他在天空看。
Notice how all of a sudden, because you're just thinking of the emotion, you're applying the facial expression, a lot of these little nuances, these changes will start to flow out and make the performance more interesting. And so this is the top-down approach, but chances are you've probably tried this and you haven't had much success. Maybe you've had like, you know, teachers or like online instructors and they tell you, hey, just feel it, just really feel the performance and you're really feeling it. But what comes out is still a bit more lifeless and a bit more bland than you'd like. This is where the second approach can really come in and help out. Rather than starting with a top kind of level of emotion and then hoping some changes happen with your voice, you can actually go from bottom up. We reverse engineer some of the vocal colors that make the performance even more emotional. And all this means is, you know, go through one of your favorite songs again, and instead of listening as a fan, ask yourself beyond singing on pitch, beyond singing on time, what else can I hear them doing? Maybe it's the way that they're starting or ending their phrases. Maybe it's the way they choose to make certain words breathy, certain words more powerful, where they're emphasizing words. What we're focusing on here is simply capturing those little details, those little stylistic choices, these little vocal colors that you might have missed if you're just kind of listening to it purely for enjoyment. From there, it becomes really simple. If they're finishing off the phrase breathy, then you try just to do the exact same thing. See if you can build the control to do that. Now, chances are it'll take a few times. Chances are you're probably gonna have to record yourself, but it's this process of reiteration that can help you start to build in these colors so that when you start thinking about the emotion again, all of these colors will naturally start to flow out. This is actually a process that I guide my students through one-on-one, and I also talk about this in my fundamentals course. And so if you're feeling stuck or you want to get a bit more guidance on this topic, check out some of the links in the description below. I've got ways once again to work with me. Anyway, that is a wrap, team. Thank you so much for checking out this episode. If you found value, if you found some ways to help you sing with more emotion, then please do all the usual social media stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. It really helps push this video out to more people, and it would just mean the world to me. And if you're on the podcast, leaving a 5-star review would really help as well. Apart from that, my name is Ivan. I'm your voice teacher, and I'll see you every single Thursday or Friday for these weekly tutorials. Take care.